Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of season 3. We're so happy to have you here today. If you just joined us, my name is Robin. I am at a tired witch on Instagram, and today and every day, I'm joined by the beautiful, talented, and sexy Maria the Arcane.
Oh. Why, thank you.
I sang the intro to the last one, so I thought maybe this is what I do now. Maybe I upset our listeners by singing every time.
Whatever. I mean, that was beautiful, and it should be recorded.
Thank you.
And be on top of the charts. Like,
thank you.
10 out of 10.
I mean, I'm not trying to say that I am Christina Aguilera, but sometimes, you know, the musical notes speak for themselves. Whoa. I think that sounds exactly like her. And
100%.
Anybody who says that it doesn't is actually being really discriminatory and can get out of my life. Thank you.
So talented.
Thank you. Before we get into our regularly scheduled lunar phase updates, a little bit of housekeeping. Firstly, Maria and I will be doing a giveaway next week.
So excited.
Yeah, it's going to happen next week. It is going to be with some really cool stuff that we have left over from the boxes, for like the Patreon boxes that we think that you guys will like. And it'll be for people who have already left or do leave reviews for the podcast. So I think that's really exciting. You guys can preemptively enter. You just need to put your Instagram username in the review. Yeah, so we're very excited about that. We will be doing it next week sometime. And then the other thing is, because we are back to our bullshit, we are taking submissions for story requests at this time for February. We are focusing on love stories this month. Not just love stories, but love spell stories. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Give us
I want to hear the bad and the ugly.
Yeah,
so
give us your like love spell gone wrong. I want to hear it. Maria wants to hear it. If you had one that went really well, we can also talk about that. Like, give us your love spells. Give them to us.
I'll be sharing one of my own that I did in middle school.
Oh, so, I'm so excited to hear that. I didn't know that. I'm excited. I love that.
I was an all-powerful witch back then.
If you haven't already seen our social media this month, I am very clearly leaning heavily into the Valentine's love theme.
It's in the name.
Yeah,
it's in the name.
It's in the name. I am partial to the name Valentine, as we can guess for obvious reasons. Live, laugh, love.
Oh no!
Oh, I am never dropping it. You guys don't know this, but for Christmas, I sent Maria a Skeletor Live, Laugh, Love poster just so I can like really just ruin her life.
Which actually I'm having framed, and as soon as it's framed, I'm taking a photo of it and posting it to Coffee and Cauldrons. So everyone will get to enjoy it.
Good. I'm glad. We are leaning very, very heavily into the love theme though this month, and we're very excited to hear your love spell stories. I think it's going to be really fun. I hope so. Mm-hmm. So don't forget that you guys can email us at submissions@coffeeandcauldrons.com to send us your stories to be on our Coffee Talk episodes. We're very excited for them. So getting into lunar phases, if you are brand new to our podcast, every single episode we talk about upcoming lunar phases and how you can use them magically. So that being said, as of this date that this episode will come out, the nearest moon is the full moon in Leo on February 16th. And the full moon in Leo is incredible, especially considering we're still in winter. If you are a fan of Maria's work, who isn't, she recently did a video talking about how we're in winter and we should, give ourselves some grace in that. And that being said, because we are still in winter, it's easy to essentially find yourself in a position where maybe we are lacking basic motivation. And the Leo full moon is a really, really good time to reinstate that motivation, your desires, your goals, and kind of set yourself in a position where you can propel yourself forward magically. That being said, the Leo full moon, although it is flamboyant and fiery and bright, it still is grounded in a sense of a little bit of reality. So keep your goals realistic and don't put them in a position that is maybe going to burn you out before you begin. This is a very fiery moon. And so it's easy to make goals that maybe are a little bit I'm going to say outlandish. We're going to use the word outlandish. I don't know if that's the right word, but we're going to use the word outlandish. And so don't burn yourself out. Make them a little bit realistic, but put that fire under your ass to get going again.
I love that. Yeah,
we are.
And I feel like with the Aquarius new moon this month and in conjunction like with the Leo moon, like both signs are like extremely independent and like, this is how I am, take it or leave it basically. And I think that, the full moon in Leo is just like stepping into your confidence. I mean, like I am confident enough to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
Are you excited about this Leo moon? Because you're a Leo moon, right?
I am a Leo moon.
Or are you Leo rising? Okay.
I'm a Leo moon and a Leo rising. I'm a Cancer sun and I'm a Leo moon. I am perfect in every way because I am balanced.
So balanced.
Listen, our mutual friend Stassi once said that I was perfectly balanced because my moon is a sun, like the sun astrological sign, and my sun is the lunar astrological sign. And even though I know that she was saying that in jest, I've never let that go.
And are we going to talk about all that Capricorn in your chart too? Like, are we going to talk about it?
We don't need to actually even think about the Capricorn in my chart at all in any capacity. Because I feel like if people knew like exactly how much Capricorn was in my chart, that they would really just read me to filth. And I am not in the position to emotionally be able to handle that at this time.
What a Leo Cancer thing to say. I mean,
eat me. I'm particularly excited about it because I've got some like personal stuff going on around that time that I'm really excited and looking forward to. And so I think that I'm going to basically use that energy to kind of project some personal shit that I am very excited about. Yeah.
Yes, do it. So, if you just started listening to us, you don't hear this spill every single time, and if you have, you'll just have to deal with it. Anyway,
it's fine.
We talk about a tarot card. We go over the universal meanings and then our own interpretation of them. Hearing other people's opinions helps beginners form their own opinions, or even those who have been practicing for a while expand their views on other meanings. So this week we are talking about the Four of Wands reversed. When this card is upright, it shows four wands making an arbor, or what is also known as a ceremony arch. There are people in the background, but what stands out is what looks like a couple with flower crowns and bouquets, like a wedding perhaps. And also in the background, you see a kingdom surrounded by fortified walls. The keywords of this card is community, home, and celebration. I always feel like it's important to bring up the crucial upright aspects before we dive into what the card means reversed. And so the fours represent to me building up from foundations. This particular four reminds me of the bones of a house, which represents a structure we are building towards our passions and life paths. The stability and structure we need to keep thriving. So we've made it to a point where we can, celebrate our progress. So when this comes up reversed, it represents like a mini tower-like moment, a mini earthquake, if you will. And this is when something comes and rocks the progress we've made. It can be scary, but what is important to note is that you still have your strong foundations. You still have all the progress you've made. This doesn't mean you should ignore what has happened and move past it either, but you need to take what has happened and use it as knowledge so you can continue to build. It's not not repeat the same mistakes. Mm-hmm. And like some real world examples of this is like having a disagreement with like your partner that doesn't ruin the relationship, not getting that promotion, but still having the job that you love. Or even like having a stressful week where you can't work on your passion project that you've put a ton of, time and energy behind, and like things like that. So how do you view this card, Robin dear?
So for me personally, I love the Four of Wands, just, you know what I mean? Like in general, when I see it in reverse, to me, it, like, I know how you were kind of describing it being a little bit diffused, a little bit delayed, kind of a situation. For me, I see the stable structure that the Four of Wands gives us as being a bit of a earthquake. So upright, we've got this, like you said, we've got these, four walls. They build a house. They are the foundation. These are huge things. And when it's in reverse, for me, I see it kind of being this unhappy family due to miscommunication. I see things like, this is such a bad example, but like if you were having children, maybe that is not going to go quite the way that you were hoping for it to go, which is, I know, a bit of an extreme example, but I'm trying to think of like these big life pivotal life moments that maybe aren't going the way we wanted them to go. It's an earthquake in our structure and a crack in the foundation. And it doesn't mean that the crack can't be repaired if it's addressed properly, right? Just like a house, you get cracks in your foundation, you have somebody come out and they repair it and they fix it. And if you focus on your personal foundational cracks, it can be fixed as well. But if it goes ignored, those cracks become detrimental and unrepairable and are, you know what I mean? They are something that you can't walk away from. You got to get a whole new house. So I see it kind of as like a warning sign, I guess you could say, as something really serious that needs addressing. Otherwise, these pivotal shifts in our life go from being happy and celebratory to really depressing.
No, I love your thoughts on it.
Thanks.
Very good.
It's because of my big brain.
We love that big brain.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Oh my goodness.
So we thought it would be fun this week to talk about divination methods that you don't really see others talk about a lot or do a lot. It seems like, witches' preferred divination practices are like card readings, tea leaf readings, bones, runes, scrying. But, no one be shocked here. But I am obviously very partial to card readings myself. And,
What? You like card readings?
Yeah.
Next, you're gonna tell me you prefer black and gold. You're next. You're gonna tell me like black and gold decks, which is crazy.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, I mean it's fine. I mean it's not like my home or your bus are definitely not insulated with tarot decks.
No, not mine.
Own decks. I don't know.
Me?
I don't know.
No. You sound crazy right now, and you're hysterical. You need to relax.
Relaxing sounds nice. But so what is a divination that you've heard of that you don't really hear about?
Okay, so listen, I actually got like in an absolute hole recently on the internet and researching that I've actually requested my uncle, who's a woodworker, to make one. So I'm a really big fan of the concept of and practice of automatic writing. And I got into a hole about like historical versions of automatic writing. Like the original planchette was a tool that was made in like France, I think they said. That was a tool for automatic writing, which then was converted to what is now the Ouija board, right? And in between the Ouija board and automatic writing was something called a channeling board. And it looks like a clock. And you put your hands on the wood, and then like as the wood kind of moves side to side, it's like the ticking part of the clock. I'm sure that has a name. And I'm sure one of our listeners will be like, Robin, it's called the pendulum or something. I don't know what it's called, but the little thing that you put your hand on, you do that. And then just like a Ouija board, you kind of let spirit take over, and it, like a clock, moves this sort of like hand to the different letters on the top. I'm going to send you a photo of it. It's really cool. But
ooh, that sounds really neat.
It is really neat. And I've like
heard of it, but I've never seen it. You know what I mean?
I've asked my uncle to make me one now because I am really, really interested in trying one out. But automatic writing and all forms of automatic writing are something that I think is underutilized.
Me too. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of
really
fun.
Like it.
And it is something that, of course, you have to get used to. And, like, you know what I mean? You can't just, like, do it once and you're like, wow, I am a professional at this. I mean, I guess you could. Some people are, like, tapped in like that. But I think it's really cool, and I think more people should do it. What about you?
So I thought a fun one to bring up would be junk readings. The practice is very much like throwing bones, but instead of bones, you have things like small toys, charms, tiny figurines, rings, keys, and other
I've seen those, and people do like the little scoop into the junk and then they throw it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, I've seen that.
You toss them on a mat, and depending on the ones you throw and how they land, it will give you like answers using your personal correspondences with the objects. Honestly, you know, like I would love to go in like an antique shop or a secondhand store and find like odds and ends to use for these types of readings. I mean, how fun is that? I think, and I also think for like these types of readings, having a connection with the objects would be very important, you know, like kind of like zinging with a crystal. And I just think it'd be fun to like make your own little collection of stuff like, oh, well, this means this to me. And I don't know, you can make it really like really crazy, like, you know, completely junky, like you 25-cent toys from those one machines.
Or that'd be so fun. What were those little toys called from the 25-cent machines? They were like little homies or something. Do you remember those?
Yeah, I
like,
do.
Get those? The little homie set.
And then like, you know, me, I'd probably go the aesthetic route and like a bunch of like cute little antique objects. But yeah, I think that they're really, really fun, and I want to make my own. Yes, please. So what's another one for you?
For me, so I think this is probably one that a lot of people actually know more of, but ceromancy. When you put wax, when you like use wax as divination, and you can like, there's a couple different ways, like you can burn candles and then read the leftover wax. You can burn a candle and then like purposely throw the wax into water, like cold water. And then you flip it over and you read the underside of the wax. I actually really prefer this for when you're at points in your like intuition developing. I think that ceromancy is one of the easiest ways to develop your intuition, because you can take a bath, you can bring some candles with you, you throw the wax into the water, and then you read the wax. And And because it is very much so something that is got symbolism, etc., you can essentially, what do you see? You know what I mean? And then just trusting that intuition right away, and then going to, you know, whatever resource you have for symbolism. Because I'm assuming if you're developing your intuition, you also aren't like back pocket with symbolism. And then you can, you know, refer to that. And that, I feel, is one of the quickest ways to kind of learn to trust your intuition, because you are also in a bathtub, which means that you can't just sit there second guessing yourself and like Googling it. It's just, this is what I see, making a mental note of that. I'll check on it later.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that. And
yeah,
I've done it before. I didn't know the name for it though. So when you said like Ceromancy, I was like, huh? But
I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's one of those words that I've always like read, and I've never actually heard somebody else say. So it might be pronouncing it wrong. But I love wax divination. I think that it's so underrated and underutilized, especially when people are relatively new to their craft and they're really focusing on working on building that intuition. I think it is chef's kiss.
Yeah, I like that. So I wanted to also talk about like Venus glass. Like this became like reintroduced to me in New World Witchery, the book by Corey Hutchinson. I heard about it like when I was younger, and I've done it, but so a Venus glass is a type of ovomancy, divination with eggs. Using eggs for divination purpose has actually been used by many, you know, different cultures, because you have like egg cleanses and all that. But the Venus glass was very popular in like the 17th century in New England, and even in Salem. It was used in the Salem witch trials to convict the witches. And
that is so ironic. That is so ironic. They're using actual witchcraft to be like, is this person a witch?
But so they would drop an egg in the glass of water, and depending on the shapes it made, it showed how someone's love life would play out. Like if there was a coffin, you wouldn't get married, or you would die before you get married. And
yikes.
Yeah, but I really like ovomancy. I think it's a lot of fun.
Is this? So I don't know anything about this, but when you say that, like the shapes that it made, do you mean like in shadows?
No, like so the egg whites would make as soon as you drop it in a glass of water. I
literally thought you meant like the whole egg. Like,
no.
I was like, interesting. What kind of like shapes are we talking? Now I understand. Hello, what is up, guys?
No, that's my fault. You're supposed to crack the egg open and like put it in a glass and see what shapes the egg whites make, or how the yolk is positioned and stuff like that. Like it's this whole thing that apparently a lot of cultures have used. I really think it's a lot of fun, and it's just a quick, like easy, you know, thing to do with. It's very hedge witchery, you know, like home witchery. Like, oh, I'm cooking.
Literally cannot believe I thought you meant the entire fucking egg. I'm so dumb.
If the egg cracks when you dump it in the water, your relationship is cracked, Robin.
Oh my god, I'm literally so stupid. I'm just like, yeah, tell me more about that. Actually,
stupid.
Tell me more about. I would like to know more. Tell me more about this shadow magic that you referred to, Maria. Oh my god. Sorry.
So
I'm literally so
what's
stupid.
One for you?
So
you're very smart.
I actually so this is actually something that I had forgotten about, and when you and I had decided our topic that we were going to do, I coincidentally last night was shopping for copper things. So it's my 7-year wedding anniversary coming up in like 2 weeks, and I was like, oh, what's good for a 7-year wedding anniversary? And copper was one of the things that was suggested. So I'm on Etsy, and I'm looking for copper things, and because I am who I am, Etsy suggests to me dowsing rods, copper dowsing rods. Of course, I didn't put anniversary. I didn't put anniversary. I just put like copper gifts. And so Etsy's like, based off your search recommendations. And I'm like, well, the ways my husband would hate this is unreal. But not only that, but it's like, let's go find some water, baby.
Here's a present for you that's actually meant for me.
Exactly. So dowsing rods are like very commonly known to be used for finding water. They're like these little copper rods that you put in your hands, and they've got like a little thing that goes inside of it, so you're not manipulating the rods. They have kind of like free movement. And you use them to find water. They cross together. People go, okay, here's water. Let's dig, build a well. But I have seen them. Now, I have never done this because I do not have dowsing rods, which is why Etsy was suggesting them to me. But people use them to communicate with spirits and ask kind of like yes/no questions like you would with a pendulum. I've seen it become incredibly popular recently on like live streamed like kind of like Q&A divination things. I've seen it on like Instagram, TikTok. I've seen a few of them on YouTube. And I know that some people do it on their like Patreon behind paywalls. Again, I don't use this personally, but I have seen it and I found it very interesting. Mostly because of that connection between things like intuition and water finding, and things like, you know, like what would potentially lead us to finding water in a position. Like, again, I don't know that much about this, but I have found it very interesting, that connection of using something that is used to find like water as a tool to communicate with like spirit. And I find that so fascinating. I want to spend $100 on dowsing rods to potentially get a yes or no answer? No, I do not. But I think that people could maybe who already have them or have an interest in them use that? Like, yeehaw, guys. More power to you.
I actually, when I was in elementary, we had like woods behind our house, and I would use a wood one, and but I didn't use it to find water. I would close my eyes and let like spirit guide me to like fun objects that I would find in the forest.
That's so cute. I'm just picturing you with like your eyes closed, like 8 years old with two sticks.
Slamming into a tree, which has happened.
Slamming into trees going, where are the frogs? Show me where the newts are.
Exactly. And it was a lot of fun. I love it. Happy childhood memories. But so I was recently introduced by this from our lovely Discord members, and I like tried to find like background information about it, but I couldn't really. So I can only tell you what I know about it. So there's this board you can buy. It has like a bunch of different symbols on it, like a house, key, cornucopia, car, and other things. But you throw 3 coffee beans onto this board, and depending on where they land and how they land, this will be your reading. There are even reversals, because sometimes the beans land face up or face down.
How do you determine which way is face up and which way is face down? Is the butt crack the down?
The butt crack is upright. So if the butt crack is upright, it's upright.
So and if ass it's up, guys, tummy down.
Yes. But honestly, it's just an amazing idea. They actually call it a Javamancy board, and I had my wife get me one, and I love it. It's like really fun to do, like when your coffee brews in the morning. And I found the readings to be very reliable, and it's just so quick to like set it all up. You know, no shuffling required. And I don't know, it's really cute, and I highly recommend checking it out. I think the person who is selling them on Etsy is Modern Conjure, and it's stunning. Highly recommend.
I see, at my job, there was a Javamancy that they asked me if I know how to do, and I told them no. But the Javamancy that they referred to was using coffee beans in your coffee, just like one would with Tasmancy. Isn't that
Yeah,
interesting?
I've heard about that too. I think
I am just
Coffee
curious as
Witch
to
on Insta
like
does it.
I'm just curious as to why everyone is making such bad cups of coffee that they've got grit at the bottom of their coffee. That is a joke.
Well, I
I'm
know
not trying to drag anybody. That's a joke. Ah!
Well, I know the way that Coffee Witch does it is she actually reads like when you pour the cream in the coffee and how the cream looks
That's so
and
interesting.
stuff, and she records it in slow motion.
At my job, they literally like gave us an outline of like who does this. Do you know what I'm saying? And they described it exactly. And the way that they had described it was exactly like tassemancy, only using the grit at the bottom of a cup. And
maybe using the powder, like, you know, like the espresso powder. Is
maybe
that it?
I was like,
I don't know.
Where is this happening? You guys throw out your French presses, get better coffee. What is happening?
I don't know about everyone else, but I like it straight from the source. So I'm just going to chew on some coffee beans and call it good. I'm just
personally
kidding.
like to huff coffee beans up my nose and then go out the other nostril and just go like it's a loogie or a booger, and then I will read that. Actually, I'm just kidding. I really don't want anybody to think that I'm like making fun of anybody who like does Javamancy. This is purely a joke. I really not mean any hate to anybody.
Respect.
I really don't like. I know like lately, anytime I make a joke, people think I am serious. It's mostly I know
that is so true.
I really just want to emphasize the fact that is a joke, and I do not mean to insult anybody who does Javamancy. Please, I am so sorry.
Don't come for Robin.
Please, I'm just joking. Like, oh, geez. As we all know, if I make fun of anybody the most, it is myself. Like,
so what's another divination for you other than hawking up coffee?
So I was gonna talk about one thing, and we actually had talked about it beforehand. Okay, and I was like, and then I changed my mind. I changed my mind. And instead, we're going to talk about numerology because, as we all know, I am horny for numerology, and I think that people
Me too.
People forget that we can use numerology to like figure out things that are happening. You can the study the idea about it is that you first of all you can look at things like angel numbers. So if numbers are repeating themselves multiple times, you can look at the numerology of that. The problem with angel numbers that I find is that sometimes people begin looking for them everywhere instead of allowing them to naturally come to you as you would with your intuition. And so you think that you're seeing repeating numbers when in reality you're just spending maybe a little bit too much time on your phone. That's not a dig. It's just your intuition will tell you if you're seeing the repeating numbers.
And what Robin's saying is definitely not the same as like using an angel number to your benefit. Like if you're waiting for like, let's say 111 to come around to make a wish or whatever, then that's, you. Like, that's fine.
No, exactly. Exactly. And so, there's that. So with the numerology, you can also do things like look at somebody's birth date and like do numerological like playback on whether or not this person is going to be a good influence for you in your life. These sort of things.
Exactly.
And it's not going to be the same sort of divination that one would maybe see situation to situation with like tarot or runes or similar, but it is going to be the kind of divination that you can utilize for like, I want to go on a plane on this day. Without knowing the full astrological like breakdown, you can use numerology to be like, you know what, actually your travel plans are probably going to be pretty stressful on this day and it might not be for you. That sort of thing. It's a little bit more simple, but I think it's fun and useful. So I don't know.
Oh no, I love working with numbers, so love it. So So
I think we got time for one more.
And then also, yeah. Well, I do want to say on the numerology thing.
Look at us both saying numerology. God. Reading comprehension of snails, both of us.
But for like readings with let's say the junk readings, if you're just grabbing a handful, you can actually count the amount of things like you throw, and you can use that also for like how, like if let's say you grabbed 4 things, we're like, oh well, 4 structure and like investment or whatever. But yeah,
no, definitely.
But okay, so my last one is bibliomancy. And now this does seem to be picking up steam again. I've seen posts about it, and it's been brought up in the Discord. So some people say you have to do it with the Bible, but you don't. Like, you do not have to do it with the Bible. That's more like, I know they do it in Catholicism, like where they go, let God or spirit talk to me, and then they find like a passage they need to hear or whatever. But anyways, you can use any book, even a fantasy book, an owner's manual, or even a steamy romance book. Whatever. Whatever floats your boat and what you think could give you the answers you need. Anyways, like how I practice bibliomancy is actually with a book of messages. Now, it's not affirmations, Robin, so quit gagging in the background. But anyways, how I personally do it is I close my eyes. I have my left hand under the book and my right hand on the cover. And I think about the question I have. Now, still with my eyes closed, I flip through the pages until I feel called to stop. And then I use my finger to scan the pages, once again with my eyes closed. And when I feel called to stop, I look to see what phrase or word my finger has landed on. If it's in a blank space, I repeat the whole process. Or even if it happens with a second attempt, I rephrase, because it's kind of like, adjust your question because your question can't be answered right now or whatever. But
try again.
I love bibliomancy. It's a lot of fun, and like, I don't know, who doesn't love a good book? And then using them for divination, like, yes, please.
Yeah, I'm with you, girl. Do
you do bibliomancy?
I do sometimes, but I do use like the Bible for it. I just feel like you're not going to get the same sort of like wherefore art thou shit anywhere but the Bible. And I kind of like the cryptic nature of it. So, gonna be honest. I kind of like the shame. Gonna be honest, guys. Gonna be honest.
There's no shame in it.
In the Bible? Yeah, there definitely is shame in the Bible.
Yeah. Okay, that, yes. But I was like, for you,
baby girl, I know you read. I know that you are not saying that the Bible does not have shame in it, because it definitely does. That's like the whole point.
I know it does.
Oh my goodness.
So, Robin, what is stirring your cauldron right now? Oh, God, I laughed. I ruined it.
You didn't ruin it. Trust me, I am fully hard. So what is stirring my cauldron right now is there is a shit pot of new books coming out, or that have like just come out, that I am like so jazzed about. If you are a Patreon member of ours, we have a book club that we do, and Aiden Watcher was one of our books like 6 months ago, which was 6 Ways. And he just had a new book come out called Changeling. And I am very excited about it. I've heard really, really good things about it. It's something that I am planning on getting here soon to go through. Mara
Feed our to-be read piles.
Yeah, literally. Mara Starling has a book that is about to come out. about Welsh witchcraft. I've actually had the pleasure of reading it early because I got an advanced copy. 12 out of 10. Absolutely loved it. I really like Mara's writing style. Julia Diaz has another book coming out called The Altar Within, which I've heard really, really, really good things about. I'm excited about that. My personal friend, Frankie, also known as Chaotic Witch Aunt, has a book that is coming out in America. It already came out in England, I believe, or at least in Europe, like 2 or 3 months ago. But their book is coming out in the States.
I'm getting a copy. I'm really excited about it.
It's really good. Like I was not really sure what to expect from Frankie's book. I knew that it was very well researched, but I didn't know what to expect. And I have to be honest, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great book, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. So that I'm super excited about. Like, there's just a ton of new books that are coming out that just they all sound really good.
I know. I agree.
Yeah. I'm just big jazzed. There was 2 that were coming out from Wiser that one of them was about Santa Muerte, and the other one, it was called like, let me find it. Let me find it. Because I know that I emailed them. I was like, can I have this?
I literally just wrote them and got a bunch of books that I'm reading.
I was just like,
I did the same thing.
Can I just have this? And they actually told me that it wasn't available yet for that. It is the Twist Your Fate, and there's a new release called Twist Your Fate and one called Secrets of Santa Muerte. And I emailed them and was just like, can I just have this? And they were like, yeah, those are not available yet at all, even for early releases until summer. And I was like, fair. Can I have it then? Please. Yeah, so there's just a lot of, I mean, I know I do this like once a year. I know that I have a problem doing this like once a year, being like, look at all the books coming out. But I'm still really excited about it.
I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read every single one from front to cover.
Oh, another one that I just forgot about and was reminded about was Jason Miller has a new book coming out in May, Consorting with Spirits, which I am freaking jazzed about.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Jason Mankey has one coming out also that is like...
Really?
Yeah, it's called like
I still need to read his Horn God one. That was him, right? Yeah.
That sounds right. His is called like a big book of... It's called like the big book of like witches' spells or something. The Witch's Book of Spellcraft is what it's called. And it looks really good.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so...
Sounds like a new to Judica Illis book.
Yeah.
I will take another one.
So excited. So yeah, there's just like a lot of books coming out that I am really, really jazzed for. I'm excited to read. And a bunch of them are like new names that I'm not familiar with. And I love reading new people's perspectives because I feel like, you know, when we have these authors that we've read like 15 works from, they're obviously amazing and I'm not disparaging them at all, but you do kind of have an idea of what to expect from them, even if you don't know what the content is going to be about per se. And so these new names, it excites me because I'm like, you know, I wonder what their perspective is going to be. And I think that's cool. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, me too.
So, Maria, what's not stirring your cauldron this week?
Well, I'm going to tell you. So, this is going to be a very, very serious rant, okay? It's not just me complaining about the woes of tarot reading, just so we're clear.
Okay.
So, I hate pulling negative cards of the day, and as I move through the day, that is turning out to be a pretty great one. that I'm like, oh, the card that I pulled isn't making any sense in relation to my day. So, you just kind of like let it go. Let go of the dread that has been plaguing you, and you're just like, it's fine. Everything's fine. And you start thinking, oh, maybe I didn't shuffle well enough, or maybe I'm just having a rough divination day. And then it happens. The card manifests, and it's just like, well, shit. On one hand, you're like super proud of yourself for pulling the right card. But at the same time, you're like, oh, okay, I should have just been like mentally preparing myself for this all day. But, but sometimes, you have to have, sometimes you get the foresight of what's to come so you can avoid it, or at least, like, as I said, prepare yourself. But other times fate is like, nope, this is going to play out and it's going to suck and you're just going to have to deal with it. But then you're waiting all day for it to happen. And it's like, you get to that like comfort zone where you're like, oh, I'm safe, I'm fine. And then, yeah, tragedy strikes. And that was totally not my day yesterday. It's fine. But yeah, that's what's not stirring my cauldron. Waiting for the negative card to fall into place.
I love it. I think it's good, actually. Oh my goodness. Sorry.
Yes, I was trying really. This is what happens when you try to love and light the situation. Don't love and light the situation. Just prepare yourself for the inevitable, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you're so silly.
I know.
Greetings and salutations to everyone who has just joined us this first episode.
Greetings and salutations. Okay, so that's what we're doing.
Who just joined us in this episode? Guess what? We're going to talk about creators that we like right now. Creators, shops, artists, authors, photographers. Doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it. And just like every time, we have to tell you, we've got to remind the people that these are organic finds and things that we're just liking right now, and has nothing to do with things being promoted or anything like that. You can't do that. We're not going to promote your stuff. Sorry. Sorry.
Too bad.
So that being said, yeah, too bad. Actually, so that being said, Maria, who are you loving right now?
Okay. So this is more like an event thing. Okay. So I don't know, I don't know if many people follow me or follow the shop, but I do videos for Tamed Wild, like for their products and stuff. Well, they hosted a retreat with all like the Tamed Wild employees and like for people who wanted to attend the retreat, of course, but the employees of Tamed Wild were teaching at the retreat. So I was teaching at the most recent Embolic retreat, and it was just so much fun. Oh my gosh. It was just being around that much community and around people from like different walks of life was such an amazing experience. And doing like group spells and doing all the workshops that other employees put together was just a blast. And what I did was that I read cards for everybody that was there, that was attending, who paid to attend. And I don't know, it was usually stuff like that is like way outside of my comfort zone, but I decided to give it a go this time. And
she was brave,
honestly,
guys.
I'm really glad I did, because it was amazing. Yeah, and it's such in a beautiful place. Like the owner of Tamed Wild, Shelby, she owns the inn that it takes place in, and it's just beautiful, like inn that was, I think they said, made in the 1920s by like a famous architect who did like it in a classical French style, and it's just stunning. And yeah, great experience. So if you're looking for like a Sabbath retreat to go to, I can honestly say I was at one and it was a lot of fun and I highly recommend it. And
That's
I should
so
be
cool.
reading tarot at all of them besides a few in the summer. So
That's so
yeah, just keep that in mind.
exciting. And I mean,
Yeah.
it honestly sounded so fun. Like, I'm really jealous I didn't get to go, especially considering we've all been cooped up for so long and people are like now finally coming out of like their shells and being able to like go back into civilization some. That's incredible. And I'm just so happy for you that you went. It sounded so good.
Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed myself. I missed you though. Always miss
I'm
you.
very missable, so I get it. I do get it. You know, my presence is missed when it's not there.
So who you loving?
I'm just razzing. This week, I'm super into Lady Moonco. They are a like company that makes things like trinkets and brooches and clothing and jewelry and just all sorts of things.
If you love practical magic, you'll love
they have
their
a
shop.
huge section on practical magic, which is so cute. Very specifically, they have a pin that is a Polly Pocket pin, but it's like a witch's house.
I love that.
And like I just want that to be
cute.
real. Like I want that to be real. Like so much. I want it to be real.
I love their croc little charm
The
things.
Crocs are so funny.
Crocs. I don't wear Crocs, but the charms are cute.
I do. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm better than a Croc. I'm not gonna sit here and listen. They're comfy as hell. And when I was pregnant, my fat ass was so like, like walking was so painful for me. And the Crocs were the only thing that made it worthwhile existing.
Yeah.
But she's got this pin set that I really want that are like, okay, so again, as we've already discussed in this chat today, because my last name is Valentine, I am annoying about Valentine's Day and I love it. And I specifically love the conversation hearts, which is why I lean so heavily on the conversation heart art for like the social media this month. But she's got one that's got a Hexulator, Twin Flame, and Birth Chart, please. And I really, really wanted to get it last year, and I forgot, and I might buy it this year. I'm just totally obsessed with it. I think it's so cute. You know what? I do deserve it. Thank you so much for noticing.
Yeah. I'm here to tell you yes when the husband says no.
Thank you. I just need that validation. She's also got a tarot deck that is all like music based. It's got like Janis Joplin and it's got David Bowie and Dolly Parton and stuff as their majors, and I think it's really cute. Plus the back is pink, and
they have like the little lyrics. Yeah, and the lyrics are on the side. I love that. So good.
So yeah, totally obsessed. Anyway. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We hope to see you again on Friday, February the 18th for our third episode of season 3, or you can catch us on the in-between for coffee talk. That being said, make sure to send us your submissions for your love spells gone awry or gone really well. In the meantime, you can keep an eye out on our Instagrams and on our Twitter for more information, and you can find both of these by going to coffeeandcauldrons.com.
Yeah, or even better, you can join us on our Discord tier, which is First Coven on Patreon, so we can answer some questions in our part 2 next time. Yes. If you're loving Coffee and Cauldrons, please, please, please take a moment to review us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify now. We would definitely appreciate it and love it so much. And now if you put your username, you will be entered in a giveaway if you also follow the other things when we post the giveaway.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yay! And And if you join us on Patreon, you'll even get to hear our sexy, sensual, lovely, just immaculate voices for an additional 30-ish minute episode for being on the casting tier and up.
So again, you're my dogs.
The dog's like, fuck you, actually. You're not going to join the casting tier and up.
No. They were like, do it, like shouting from downstairs. I'm so glad Delilah got a little insert into our podcast.
Goodness.
Anyway, so again, this is Coffee and Cauldrons
with Robin at A Tired Witch on Instagram.
And I'm Maria from @Maria the Arcane on Instagram.
All right,
okay.
You ready?
You ready? Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 5 witches. I think they might have nailed that.
Yeah. Perfect.